Hey guys, welcome to Interesting Video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Sivir supplementary guide, and today we're going to be talking about Shieldbow on Sivir. So we have of course covered the complete guide of Sivir, which I do think Bloodthirster is the best option to put here. Basically the only difference is swapping Bloodthirster for Shieldbow, and as I say, I think Bloodthirster is the best. It gives you better sustain than Shieldbow, it gives you more damage, and it's just better in general in every area except one, which is surviving burst damage, which is basically the only place where Shieldbow is better than Bloodthirster, and it is of course the main reason why some ADCs would take Shieldbow instead of Bloodthirster against certain situations. We'll cover a little bit more about that in the gameplay, but first let's talk about the build. So first up, you still want to go for of course your Gluttonous Greaves. Of course you get the Omnivamp, you get the AD, pretty self-explanatory. Then of course Shieldbow as your first item, of course as I mentioned, gives you the good stats, as well as of course gives you that lifeline passive, which is going to further scale up, you know, as you get more crit. So next up you're going to go for Quick Blades. This is of course to get your cooldowns back faster, particularly honestly all of it, but particularly your W is really important. Your E cooldown getting back quickly is really good as well, and your Q, you know, is really good. Basically it's just really good because Sivir likes all of using all of her spells. IE of course more AD and increased crit damage. Mole Reminder for the armor pen, as well as the Grievous Wounds. And the last item of course is very flexible, so you get GA for armor and revive. You of course have a magic resist option, which is your Maw. NT-Burst could be Crown, but honestly you already have Shieldbow, so you probably don't want to go Crown here. Just both defenses. Is Twin Guard still is a viable option on ADCs, although you don't really see it so much anymore. And of course, just straight up more damage is going to be Runaan's Hurricane, and against tanky targets, or a tanky team rather, it's Black Cleaver is an amazing option. So for the runes, pretty much you can choose between going Kraken Slayer, or you can also go for, honestly you could go for Conqueror or Lethal Tempo. Now I don't think you need Lethal Tempo's attack speed, as I covered in the complete guide. Conqueror actually works pretty well. You get AD as well as Omnivamp, so it does actually work really well, especially in terms of team fights. But personally I like to go Kraken Slayer. Now the reason why I think Kraken Slayer is really good is because Sivir is already pretty much one of the best ADCs in team fights. Like her damage output in team fights is pretty much unmatched, but really the main issue Sivir has is in lane phase, and like as well as like in 1v1s and 2v2s. So this is where Kraken Slayer is actually really good, because when you're like in a 1v1 and proccing Kraken Slayer on that one person, you're of course going to do a lot more damage. And same thing for like, you know, small 2v2s and skirmishes where Sivir is weak. So basically Kraken Slayer can kind of cover up for her weaknesses and sort of make up for it with the rune, whereas with like something like Conqueror, you're doubling down on her strength. So kind of two different approaches, but I personally prefer to go for the Kraken Slayer route, because I don't think she really needs any more power in terms of team fights. Of course we go for Brutal as an ADC. Giant Slayer, you know, against, you know, pretty much everyone who builds health, which is basically like 95% of games. You almost never go for anything else. And of course you get Legend Alacrity for the attack speed. And finally, here is the interesting part. So you could of course go for Bone Plating, but what I actually found to be really good is actually Ingenious Hunter. Now in most games you can stack up Ingenious Hunter relatively quickly, because when you get you start off with 20 item haste, and when you get each takedown you get 5 extra item haste, which is going to put you to a total of 45. Now this essentially makes Shieldbow's cooldown from, instead of 90 seconds, it's gonna be around like 62 seconds or so. So this could be really huge. You know, it's gonna get your Shieldbow cooldown back up really fast, and you're gonna be a lot more safe in that way. So basically you just have to sacrifice a little bit of like laning power without Bone Plating, but you get you know, a lot better mid and late game with the Ingenious Hunter. No, but as I said, you have to stack this. So in some matches like the one you're going to see later, I actually take quite a long time to stack it, which is I took like 12 minutes to stack it, which basically makes the rune not worth anymore. But of course you would never really know how long you take to stack it before you actually play the game. So I think that most games I can get this stacked in like, you know, around 7 or 8 minutes, which is basically good enough. But this game I took really long to stack it, and it wasn't really worth it this game. But of course you can still choose to go for Bone Plating, which is a lot more of a consistent option. So for the spells, I go for Flash, of course, and Ghost if you can afford it. But if, of course, there are assassins and stuff, you might need to go for Exhaust, which, of course, if you're going for the Shieldbow build, could be in a lot of games. So, yeah. But with all that said, we can now hop on to talking about the gameplay. Okay, so now hopping straight into the gameplay. Now, the reason why I went for the Shieldbow build is, of course, we have like the infamous Blue Cane who can basically one-shot you, and Shieldbow is one of the few things that can save you as an ADC. Now, Shen, pretty good backline access as well if he outs like Galio or Kayn, and of course Galio, if he gets off a good ult or he manages to dash in on you, you know, really big threat as well. Basically, Shun and Galio are more of CC threats that won't really kill you, but their CC can lead to their team killing you, whereas Kayn can actually kill you. So 3 big threats to me. I'm going for Shieldbow. So here at the start of the game, something really interesting happens, which is basically my Braum is on vision in mid, which basically means that I can't really do much here. So here I actually get off a 3rd auto attack to prop my Kraken Slayer, so me and Jinx actually trade kind of even, which is actually a huge win for me because I'm trading even in a 1v2. Although I do get hit by a Jinx W, so I don't really trade even anymore. But basically, you can see here she's zoning me off of the minions, which is exactly what she's supposed to do. I'm gonna grab a little bit of fruit. And Braum is going on like a journey to like our jungle because Kayn is in our jungle. We actually already got like 1 kill, but 1 person died as well. Like Zoe got a kill, but Kayn also got a return kill. So here I'm pretty much just trying my best to either farm or at least stay in experience. Like here you see the minions dying. I'm trying to get it with my Q, and I'm just trying to basically farm. Jinx obviously wants to go on me, so I'm just walking away. I'm trying to walk up like as this minion dies so I can at least get the passive XP. Like if you can't get the goal, at least try to get the passive XP. Lulu is honestly doing a horrible job here because she should be a little bit more aggressive on me. I use my spell shield because I was afraid of a Lulu polymorph, and Jinx tries to trap me. So the reason I flashed here is if Lulu goes for the polymorph to remove my spell shield and I land into the Jinx traps, I'm gonna get rooted and I'm gonna die. So instead of taking that risk, I'm just gonna blow my flash. Braum finally has gone back to base and looks like he's finally coming back to our lane. So overall, I would say that Braum's roam was pretty successful because Lee Sin got 1 kill and 1 death. Zoe got 2 kills, whereas on the opposite end, Galio has 2 deaths, and Kayn has 1 kill and 1 death. So the junglers are even in terms of KDA and in terms of gold. Whereas in mid, Zoe now has like a 1k gold lead over the Galio. So I would say the roam overall was very successful. I didn't lose a lot either. I lost my flash and I lost some gold and XP from the minions because I couldn't really get all of them, of course. But overall, in terms of a team-wide perspective, we still gained more than we lost. But of course, from my perspective, I lost a lot more than I gained. But of course, you know, Wild Rift is a team game. So of course, if my Zoe is fed, she can of course be in a better position to carry our team and thereby carry me. So I'm not gonna complain too much. At least it's not in a situation where you know, it's like my team is like feeding. Like, it's not like Galio is now 1k gold ahead of the Zoe. So here anyways, we get into a fight, but Galio ult comes in and I actually get picked off by a Jinx rocket, which is pretty unfortunate. Of course, Jinx has a level advantage on me because of the fact that she got all of the last hits. So technically you could say that in this fight that made all of the difference, the fact that I was not able to get all the minions, so I had a level disadvantage in the fight. But overall, it probably was not a good idea for me and Galio to take the fight in the first place because, as I said, we are me and Braum, sorry, to take the fight in the first place because we are at a level disadvantage. So Braum got a little bit over eager there, and I was also too eager to follow up on him on his passive on Lulu. So overall, we do end up dying, and this is gonna be a game where we actually rack up some deaths before we actually do anything successful. So this game really kind of highlights the strengths and weaknesses of Sivir. So of course, as I said, the main strength of Sivir is she's an amazing teamfight ADC that does insane amounts of damage because of her ricochets, but in lane she's kind of really not too good. Like you can see that we already died once to Jinx and we haven't had a good laning phase. Of course, Braum is partially to blame here for roaming, but as I said, our team came out positive overall. But we are of course pretty weak in lane. So here, Braum manages to somehow miss a Lulu who is just stunned, and we basically get baited into a fight by the Ash Arrow, and Braum, you know, whiffs the ulti, and Jinx here flashes behind to get the kill on me. Now, the main reason she flashed behind me was to prevent herself from getting hit by the boomerang rebound. But honestly, even if that hit, I still would have lost the not 1v1, but the battle to Jinx anyway, so she would have killed me whatever it is. So I'm not gonna waste my flash or my ghost here because there's no way I can escape. So I'm just going to end up dying. So as I said, we get another death on the scoreboard. So 0-2 and 0 now. Obviously not off to a hot start. Jinx is like nearly 2k gold ahead of me, nearly double my goal honestly. So it comes off to a horrible start. So of course, normally if you're so behind as an ADC, the game rarely goes well, but of course, there are those moments of magic where you find a good teamfight or you find a good skirmish and you get back in the game, and that's what we're kind of looking for here, especially because Sivir has so much teamfight power, at least with a Jinx. You know that she's not gonna be running at you and focusing you. It's not like a Lucian or a Samira who's just going to focus you down and kill you. Jinx has to play in the backline herself because she's also really squishy and she can very easily get picked off by an Ashe arrow or kicked into my team by Lee Sin. So she has to play safe as well. So that's kind of the only thing going for us, is that Jinx is not really an ADC that can kill us super duper easily if we stay behind our team as well. And having a Braum to block damage for us is also going to be pretty helpful. Here we try to take a short trade against Jinx, but you can see because she has bone plating and we don't have bone plating, we end up taking a lot more damage than her because bone plating pretty much absorbed my auto attack together with both instances of my boomerang damage, so she doesn't really take a lot of damage at all, whereas I do take quite a bit of damage. Braum whiffs another ult into nowhere, and yeah, there's not much to be done here. Zoe is dead, Lee Sin's dead, Zoe's shutdown is now gone, and the enemy team is heralding mid. And I considered going down, but there's not really much we can do there because the mid tower is already gone, and we can't 2v3 them, so not much to really do here. So I'm just gonna stay in the lane and basically just pick up the rest of the minions. Here Jinx actually ghosts on me, so I'm just gonna ghost in return. So overall we trade ghosts for ghosts. Nothing too much really lost. I mean, I did lose my ghost, but so did Jinx. So overall, it's fine. Obviously, I can't 1v1 the Jinx when I'm 1k, 1,500 gold or so behind her. So the best I can do is to just trade summoner spells. Honestly, trading summoner spells 1-for-1 when you're behind is more beneficial to you because, of course, the summoner spell on the Jinx is a lot more valuable because she's like 3-0. So speaking of which, here she's getting caught out. Here I'm making sure to focus her down, and I do get the kill and the shutdown on her. Next target is gonna be the Shun. I'm gonna predict his movement and launch my boomerang to his path instead of where he is, and I'm able to get the kill on him as well. So just that shutdown as well as the kill after that. Now the difference between me and Jinx is no longer like close to 2k, it's now like 1k, and I'm also gonna pick up plates and maybe even the tower here. So it looks like now the difference is only about 500 gold. So here I thought my 5-1 Zoe could basically just one-shot the Lulu, which is why I flashed Cute to try to do just that little bit of extra damage to finish her off, but somehow Zoe did like no damage there. I think either Lulu's shield was just that good, or she must have missed her Q or something. I'm not quite sure. I didn't really pay close attention, but I was just pretty surprised by how Zoe does like no damage here, considering the fact she has Ludens completed and she's fed. Whereas Lulu only has Ardent, which doesn't really help herself by very much. So anyways, regardless, we're kind of back in the game now. We are now 2-2-1, so we're not as fed as the 4-1 Jinx. We're not doing as well, but in terms of the overall grand scheme of the game, we're not doing too badly. We have more gold than Shun and Galio. Of course, Kayn is kind of the most fed member of their team, or in the game rather. At like, I'm not even in the game actually, because Zoe has higher gold than Kayn. But basically, at the stage of the game we are at now is like Kayn and Zoe are the two main carries, and like Jinx and me are kind of the supporting characters. Like Jinx is really fed. I'm decently fed as well. Whereas the top laners are not really doing too well. The supports are not really doing too well. And of course, Galio and Lee Sin are not doing too well either. So basically, we have two super fed members on each team. I mean, one super fed member on each team and one like okay fed member on each team. And here, speaking of fed, I managed to pop my ghost to catch up to Lulu, and I managed to pick off another kill. Again, I'm trying to bridge the gap between me and Jinx as much as possible, because at this point in time, Kayn and Zoe are about the same like fedness, and I'm trying to catch up to Jinx so that my team is a little bit more on a level playing field. And really, regardless of the case, obviously you always want to get yourself fed. You don't really need a logic for that. So here I headed over to mid to see if we can help out our team. We don't want to just randomly run at mid though, because we don't know if there's anyone in the bushes. Braum pretty much manages to spot out the rest of the enemy team. And here Lulu nearly gets caught out, or rather she does get caught out, and that's kind of what I was expecting just now when Lulu was slapped by Zoe. Like, you saw there that after she got hit by the sleep, one Zoe Q plus one Sivir Q is death. That's why I flashed Q forward to hit the Lulu just now, and that's kind of what I thought would happen at the top lane when Zoe hit the sleep, but somehow Lulu survived on like half HP, which I don't know why. I guess Zoe must have missed the Q, and there's no way Lulu survives, right? Well, regardless, the next dragon is up, and we already have 2 dragons, so we're going to just... I already have 1 dragon, sorry, so we're just going to go for the next dragon. It's going to be Mountain Soul if we get it, which is something that I like. I love Mountain Soul because you get the extra tanky stats, which is really lacking when you're in ADC. Here, Kayn tries to go in. Lee Sin is about to die and does something very foolish, which is he dashes away from us because he did basically just allows Kayn to escape. So here is kind of the team fight that Sivir likes, but however my team is disintegrating a little bit too fast, so we're gonna run. Managed to spell shield one of Kayn's spells. Kayn is actually really low, survives on 1 HP, and we are able to get out. So we not really a successful team fight. We did get the dragon, but Lee Sin died, so it's not too bad overall, but I wouldn't really call it a success. So yeah, it's, you know, Sivir of course loves those objective fights, and that's kind of really where you shine. And see, at this point your wave clear is pretty nuts as well. And here I'm waiting for Lee Sin to farm up the red buff. In the meantime, we're just gonna go ahead and take the Raptors and recall because we can now complete Navori, which is a pretty big item purchase. Jinx, of course, is still ahead of the curve. She already has her second item completed, the Runans, as well as a glove for the extra crit. We're still trying our best to catch up to the Jinx, as the Kayn's gap with the Zoe is pretty much still remaining the same. And we're just trying to farm wherever we can. So there's a huge wave here. You can see that Sivir wave clear, especially when you hit 2 items. Pretty much you can instantly clear any wave. Even if it's a big wave, you can pretty much just instantly clear it just because of how the ricochet system works. It'll pretty much bounce twice on everything. So Sivir, best wave clear ADC in the game, bar none. And here, you know, we don't really know where the enemy team is. So here, what me and Braum are trying to do is maybe set up a trap. So here I'm pushing in. Jinx taking quite a bit of ricochet damage actually. So here I'm just walking away. Unfortunately, Kayn is the one that shows up, and Galio actually shows up behind. I hit the spell shield, but I don't know what it absorbed, but not Galio CC. I'm able to actually get the kill on Kayn, which is huge, because this allows me to focus Jinx next, and Galio without his team is a sitting duck because he's, you know, the one that's feeding on his team. So without the most fed member Kayn, who was our first target, and the second most fed member Jinx, Galio is a free kill. And obviously, as I said, we want to focus the most fed member first, which is the Kayn, then the next most fed member, which is Jinx. Although there is an argument you could focus Jinx first as well. But either way, the end of the day is we got 3 kills. We got their tower, and we're now in a pretty commanding position now. For the first time in the game now, I'm actually ahead of Jinx. I'm 1k gold ahead of Jinx now because we got those 3 kills together with Kayn's 600 gold shutdown. And I'm actually now almost as fed as Zoe. So now we're kind of in the kind of spot where we want to be, where we're ahead of the curve. And now we're getting pretty fed. We have enough gold to get both components of the IE, and of course, now we're gonna get there, you know, pretty soon. And here you can see my team is getting into a fight without me. Now this is what we don't want, because fights Sivir loves, but fights where Sivir's not there, that's no good, because you know, my team's missing a major source of damage, which is me. But somehow they managed to actually get rid of Kayn and Jinx, who are the 2 most fed members of the enemy team, which basically means we should be able to win the fight. I pop my ulti, we are able to finish off the Lulu, and both Galio and Shen are kind of left really low. Shen gets slapped by Zoe, and I hit my... actually, I kind of messed up there. I shouldn't have actually hit my Q. I should just let Zoe hit the Q, because Zoe could probably just kill him from that state. So I kind of messed up a little bit there, but either way, Galio escapes. Shen's gonna die eventually anyway, I think. Actually, no, Zoe is now chasing in, and Galio is now back with full HP. Shen is now stuck on 1 HP. We're here to see if we can back up the Galio, back up the Zoe. Zoe is now stuck in stasis. I managed to not QSS, Spell Shield, Jinx's Rocket, but because of the reset from the kill onto Zoe, I end up dying. And now we're in a pretty bad position where the enemy team can now get Baron, because me and Zoe, the 2 most fed members, are dead. And only Lee Sin and Ashe are still alive. Now the enemy team can get Baron because their jungler died when our jungler is alive. So what my team needs to do here is just back off, because the enemy team can't do Baron without risking it getting stolen. But what they do instead is they end up fighting the enemy team, which is bad, because now my Lee Sin is dead. Now both teams have no jungler, and now my Ashe is dead, which means the enemy team could possibly do Baron. Now it's not a guarantee, of course, because, you know, now me, Zoe, and Braum are respawning, but if they wanted to, they could try to go for it, although their jungler is also dead, so it could be risky. But either which way, you know, Baron is a lot more important than Dragon, so we want to check Baron first. So now we've verified they're not actually doing Baron. Our next priority is number 1, top wave, and number 2, Dragon, because top wave is huge. It could take an inhibitor by itself. I noticed this when I respawned, but I felt that stopping Baron was more important than getting the wave, so I went to check Baron first. So now we know they're not doing Baron, we're just gonna one-shot the wave, doing Sivir things, and the enemy team probably will get Dragon, because I assume that they would recall and go straight to Dragon to deny the triple Dragon, and they do. Kayn picks up the Ocean Dragon, so they do get the triple Dragon. They don't get the triple Dragon, they deny us the triple Dragon, which is, again, I don't think it's such a big of a deal. It was just something nice to have. So here we have our IE completed. We're in a pretty fed state, 3 full items now. We have more gold than the Zoe. Only person with more gold than us. Actually, no. Kayn and Jinx both have more gold than us. Because Jinx did pick up some kills there, unfortunately. But yeah, so now with Baron as the only objective on the map, both teams are kind of hovering around the Baron area because you don't really want to leave the Baron area and let the enemy team just take Baron while you're on the opposite side of the map. In the meantime, we spot Shen by himself, so we're going to try to get a free pick onto Shen. We are able to pretty much reach there. Lee Sin kicks him back into our team. We're able to finish him off before his team can come. And Kayn has to turn tail and run. His team is now, running away. So we did get a free pick, but it's not really enough to just straight up go for Baron. Because, Shen is valuable, but, you don't really have the Jinx or the Kayn gotten rid of. So it's a little bit risky still. Especially if we get weakened by Baron and then, the enemy team comes in and starts a fight. That could be a problem. So here we can actually see Lulu recalling, and we can see Jinx overload. Ashe arrow actually hits the Jinx, so I pop the ult to try to catch up and try to kill the Jinx. Jinx nearly dies, Lee Sin goes in, finishes off the kill. Excuse me. And here, Dream Sivir scenario again. We're just in the fight, in a team fight, and we're just kiting all over the place. I'm going to focus the Lulu first, because she can shield the Galio and save him, so I don't want that. I'm going to finish off Galio next. And the only person left alive is Kayn, and actually Shen just respawned as well. Kayn is running away, somewhat into our jungle, so he should, actually I say he should be dead, but he's a Kayn, so he's very mobile, so maybe not. But here I'm just going to recall, complete my mole reminder, so 4 crit items completed. Now I probably want to get a stasis. Kayn is still full health and running amok, so I'm trying to see if I can cut him off. He actually kills Ashe, which is horrendous situation, and at this point there's pretty much no way we can kill him, and so I'm just gonna run away. For some reason, Braum keeps chasing, so here I'm just gonna help him out a little bit. Kayn nearly dead at this point. We are able to kill Kayn, and Shen is now, probably dead. No, he's not, because he's able to actually dash away, and I don't have any out, ghost, or flash to chase him, so, he is just dead. But Kayn was the important one, because he was the jungle, so this means we can do Baron and or Elder. So since Elder is still 10 seconds away, we're gonna go for Baron first. Most of the time, if the enemy team's jungler is dead and Elder is coming out, the enemy team will never check Baron, because if they lose Baron, normally it doesn't mean the end of the game. If they lose Elder, it means that they can't fight you anymore, it means they normally lose the game, so they'll normally prioritize checking Elder over checking Baron. So we get the Baron first, pretty much it's free, and Kayn's still 15 seconds from spawning, so here we're trying to cautiously face check into the area and see if we can get anything done. Ashe arrow goes wide, doesn't quite hit the Jinx. So here I'm starting off the Elder, and Kayn has just respawned right now. This is a little bit risky because we can't really burst down the Elder in time, and we're probably and Kayn probably can reach her in time. So this is pretty much going to be like a 50-50 flip on who gets the Elder. Kayn is definitely going to get here quickly, and Shen has engaged in. Galio gone in as well. I spell shield, Galio's engaged. We managed to secure the dragon. Kayn tries to go in, but he has GA. I'm just going to ignore him and go for the Lulu instead. And everyone's dead on the enemy team except Kayn, who is now, I think, either... Yeah, he just revived and he's now dead as well. Obviously, that means with Baron, Elder, and an Ace, it's going to be the end of the game. So, you can see how Shieldbow was really, really useful in protecting us in this particular match. And why it's still a really good item on Sivir. It's just a little bit more situational, depending on whether the enemy team has assassins or not. Or rather, backline dive is also something to consider. But anyways, I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.